Polar Homestead. We learn finance, permaculture and prepping. A modern view of the world. Don't forget, freedom is in your hands. Stay safe and vigilant, friends. And now your host, Ralph KK. Launch in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
At the gallery, I tried to buy a glass of wine. Said you haven't got a yarn to spin worthy of my time. I'm hunting for a man whose touch is forever cold. I see you with fingers in gold. Next day I carried out my static chore. 8 feet tall, skilled with the finest ore. Packed up all the fingers that my mama gave to me, and quickly ascended the scene. Darling, I cried.
It is me, your host Ralph KK. Welcome to the apocalypse. What a beautiful morning today, September 14th of the year 2022. There is no day like today to live your life to its fullest. Despite all the weird things happening around us. By the way, guys, did you know that in England we have a new king? Did you know this? Sometimes years pass by and just nothing happens during these years. But sometimes the events of years happen in days. This is the life. So last week at the same time, we got a new king, a new prime minister. All while at the same time, the economy of the United Kingdom is being decimated. It is collapsing. Not only the United Kingdom, but also Germany. Like the economy of Germany is completely destroyed because they have actually stopped the flow of gas to Europe, to Germany, to zero. Can you imagine this? Just around zero. And this is just before the winter. I mean, what are people going to do? How are people going to survive? I have no idea. Because in Germany, the weather can get quite cold. So it does go to minus, so it goes under zero. There is snow, it is cold, and mostly the houses in Europe, they are not entirely made to be completely insulated. So the materials and the way that they are constructed, it lets some air to come in the house, so that kind of the house is breathing. It is a different method of construction to that of Nordic countries, which live next to the almost next to the North Pole, yeah. So the construction of houses in Nordic countries, the houses, they are completely insulated, so there is no breathing, so that all the heat is kept inside. So the houses in Germany, they are not entirely insulated, and this way the houses can get cold or very cold, so you need some kind of heating inside. And as you might have heard, there is an energy crisis in Germany, in all of Europe. So how are people going to heat up their homes? I've got no idea. Although this year might be the crisis of energy, next year, 2023, is going to be the crisis of food. So this is why you want to be 2-3 steps ahead of everybody else. Like this energy crisis that is unfolding right now, a lot of people, or many people, could see it far away in the distance from back at the beginning of the year. January, February, March, earlier this year, people already saw the coming energy crisis. And today, you can see in the distance the coming food crisis. Because this year everything was like so chaotic, so terrible, so there were not enough crops grown, and the crops they were not plentiful. There is actually much less crops harvested this year than compared to previous years, and that means that the supply of food is going to be much less next year. So starting 2023 we will see like a food crisis, and it will keep growing until we have crops, new crops, which are usually grown in summer. So from January till summer 2023 we will see this food crisis starting to unfold. That's why the best time to prepare it is today. Buy your pasta, 100 kilograms of pasta. Pasta lasts 20 years, so you cannot lose if you buy pasta. And then start growing your potatoes. Potatoes, they give you food in a 1-to-10 ratio. So you put 1 potato and you can expect to get 10 potatoes in return. If you take care of your potato plant, you fertilize it, and the conditions are good. Well, as I've talked before about other hacks and tricks, then you should stockpile food, but in a smart way. A way to get nutrition from long-term supplies, this is by getting some seeds to germinate. So you can eat the germinated seeds, or you can get the greens directly from the seeds. And I just don't mean like seeds for plants. I'm talking about like grains. You can sprout lentils, chickpeas, wheat, all kinds of stuff. You can almost sprout anything that is in seed form. And if you can eat the grain like it is, then it means that you can eat the greens and the sprouted grains. And my favorite thing to sprout is usually lentils. They are like very long storage food, and they are usually very easy to sprout. Even after many years you can sprout lentils. And the germinated lentils, they are tasty to eat them as it is. They're very soft, very sweet, and they taste somewhat like lentils, somewhat like greens. So basically you can make some kind of soup. You can drop there the sprouted lentils, and then you will get like a lot of nutrition from this. And if you sprout the lentils and you grow some greens from the lentils, also the greens, they will be highly nutritious. And so the trick here is that you can keep these lentils for years. 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, depends how you are in what kind of storage you put them. I mean, today is the time to prepare. If you had started preparing this year in January, February, if every time you went to the supermarket, you bought one extra bag of food, of rice, of lentils, or chickpeas, if each time you went to the supermarket you bought just one extra bag, from that time till today, like 1 year, you would have already got like a big supply of food, which could last for a couple months, maybe years, and this would not take you any effort. So here the main idea is to prepare today. There is no better day to start than today. Then if you're looking into long-term solutions, well, like I've been talking about this before, you need some source of protein, so you need some kind of animals. If you really want to grow animals, the best thing would be rabbits, but you need some kind of space, some kind of garden, and the climate not to be so cold, I would say. And if you're adventurous, you could try growing indoors some giant snails from Africa. So as I've been promising in the previous podcast to explain how to grow the snails, yeah? So basically, they are called ground snails for a reason. So these giant snails from Africa, they don't climb trees, they don't go up the trees, and they don't live at the top of the trees. So they're called ground snails because they live in the ground. So this means that the place keep them, it doesn't need to be like a big tall aquarium. So you need ideally the space where they live to be flat. So let's say a container 1 meter long with, let's say, 30 centimeters high, 25 centimeters high, they would crawl around the container on the ground, on the substrate. They would not try to climb to the top and try to escape or whatever. So mostly they're ground animals. And the snails, they are fairly easy to keep. You just need to give them a substrate where they live. So they mostly like to live in dirt, so you can get some black dirt at the shop. You fill the aquarium, the container. Okay, not aquarium, the terrarium, because it's going to be full of dirt for ground animals. So the terrarium, you fill it with black dirt, and so you try to make it something like the bottom of a forest. So you need some dry leaves, some branches, some pieces of wood, some moss, so that the snails, they would go around and hide under the leaves, hide under the trunks. And you can also put some seeds into the soil. The seeds, they will sprout, and then greens will come out, and then the snails, they will eat the greens, also getting some nutrition from there. So you can try to build some kind of mini ecosystem. Although it is not necessary, the snails, they can just live in the black dirt, and you can just feed them vegetables, a source of protein, and they also need a supplement of calcium for them to grow their shell. And the important thing here, the key thing, is that the snails need a constant temperature of 25 Celsius and above. If it goes under 25, the snails, they will not feel comfortable, and it could also provoke them to go into hibernation. as if they think winter is coming, so they go to sleep for a couple of months and then they come back when it's really hot. So in their native habitat, the snails, they live in climates which is 30 plus, 35 plus Celsius. So it's imperative to keep the temperature above 25 Celsius if you want to be successful, if you want your snails to grow. And the cycle for snails, it is, for them to produce offspring, it is just crazy. They can produce offspring several times per year, and each batch they can have dozens of little snails. So growing snails is highly productive. Giant African land snails, highly productive food production for the times of apocalypse. You probably will want to go to YouTube, watch some videos and see what these creatures are all about. But like I said, it's extremely easy. It's really easy to grow these animals as a source of protein. So what you want to do is to have some area in your house where you can put something like a metallic shelf to host the terrariums. So you would put several terrariums or containers on this shelf so that they are growing spread to the side. So let's say 25 centimeters tall, 35 centimeters tall, and then to the side, let's say from 60 to 90 centimeters. Well, let's say 90 centimeters. So then you put like a metallic shelf and you can have several of these containers. In a house which could be 2 meters tall, you could put maybe 5 containers. 5 containers in a comfortable setup. 5 containers stock up on the metallic shelf. And in each container, you could have several snails. Depends how big they are. If they are like really big ones, like adults, but yeah, actually you want to grow them from babies. So snails which are like 1 year old, they are something like, let's say 5 to 5 centimeters. So in one of these containers you could have a dozen snails. So this is a very sustainable source of protein for the times of apocalypse. Probably you could try to do this as a side project, like something like a hobby, and then to develop it into like industrialized production of food for your own house, for your own needs. But yeah guys, things are getting tough. The time to prepare, it is today. And next year we will see the food crisis escalate. So you need to prepare today, not in 6 months, not in 1 year. You start preparing today, you secure your food sources, and then you try to survive the apocalypse.